There'll be times when you want to upload images to your Moodle shell, either to the main part out here or into one of the assignments or other activities within the Moodle shell. There's something that you need to remember with this. We have to be very concerned with the rights and privileges of using pictures. Some people feel that if they go to Google Images and let's say we look for sunsets, since they're here on the internet, they're available for us to use. That's not true. We're a site that advertises or that promotes our materials out to the public, so if we don't have specific rights to use a picture, we can get in a lot of trouble for doing that. We're breaking copyright laws. The other thing that people sometimes think is if you go here under Tools, there's Usage Rights, and I can click down and I can find ones that are labeled for reuse or for non-commercial or commercial reuse. So if I filter that way, then since they're labeled for commercial reuse, I can use them. However, that's also not necessarily true. It's potentially possible for somebody to take a copyrighted photo and then repost it on Google Images as labeled for non-commercial reuse. And so you just really don't want to trust that, because unless you know for sure that you have rights, this isn't a good way to go with it. However, there is a really good site. It's called Unsplash. So if you just unsplash.com, you can get free photos, and what they do is they offer you the option they ask you to use the creator's name, but you're not required to, but it's still pretty easy to add it in there. What I'm going to do is in here search for sunset. And I come up with a whole bunch of sunset pictures. And let's say I like this one. This is going to work well for my course shell. I click in here to download it. And then I want to, instead of opening it, I want to save it. So I do that. And then you see down here, crediting isn't required, but it's appreciated. So if you do want to give credit to the person that made this, you can just copy this. And what I like to do when I save it is save it here, name it what the copyright is. So that way I have the name right there when I want to use it. Now I'll go back to my Moodle shell, and let's say I want to add that in just right up top here. I'll add an activity or resource. And in here, I'm going to add this as a label. So I click on Add. Now, instead of just dragging it in here, what I'm going to do is open this up to get more options. And this one, if you hover over it, it'll tell you it's an image. This is a video, because it looks like a little movie screen and so forth. So if I want to add this image, I click on that. I'm going to browse my repositories. You pick where it is here, if it happens to be on your Google Drive or whatever, but this is, I'm going to upload a file right from my computer, so I'm just going to click Browse here. Here's the picture, and then I can save this as sunset and upload this image. Now it uploads it in full size, so this is a huge picture, so I'll need to change that. To describe the image, this is for a screen reader. You have the option to click this. That description's not necessary, but it really is. Now you don't want to put picture of sunset, because when a screen reader hovers over it, it's going to say it's a picture, so that's just redundant. So I'm just going to call this sunset. And then I'm going to change this. Let's try, sometimes it's just trial and error. Let's say 260. Now since this is clicked, or checked here, I do this one and I'm just going to hit Tab. And that automatically does the other side. And then I click Save Image, and it puts it in there for me. You can have some words in here if you want to. And let's say I want to just make those a little bit bigger. I'm going to try a heading 2 for that one. Then I'll scroll down and I'll save and return to course. And I have my picture in here. Now because I have it in editing mode, that the words aren't quite right, but when I get out of editing mode, what a student will see, or actually if I really want to see it, how a student will see it, I'm going to switch my role to student, and then I can see what they'll see. So this is a picture they'll have. Now if I decide I want this picture bigger or smaller, then I go in and change the size of it. Let me just show you how to do that. I'm going to get out of this. I'll return to my normal role. Turn editing back on. Come in here and I want to edit this. And now when it's here, the way I can get back to change the size of the picture, if I just double click on the picture, it'll bring this back up. And let's say I want to change this to 160. It just seems a little too big. Again, with this checked, I'm going to tab, and that changes the 173 to 107. And it made my picture smaller. So I can do that and adjust it however I'd like it to be. So that's how you add a picture in. It's the same process for doing it if you want to have it as part of an assignment, to have a picture that they look at. The key thing is you want to go with a website that's safe. And these have that in here. Now the other thing I can do with this is right underneath here where I typed welcome to class, that's where I could put in that give credit to who the picture's from, so then that's right in here also. So that's another way that I can add that credit in there. But this website allows you to use their pictures, and that's what's most important. If you have any questions with this or anything else, feel free to fill out a help desk ticket and we'd be happy to help you with it. Have a great day.